Hey y'all, we're going to. I'm going to answer some questions. Yeah, my assistant just like walked right in front of the camera. Special. Nonetheless, let's let's go through some of these questions. Well, first before I begin, I first off I pray and I hope that your day has gone well. I pray that I don't know wherever part of the world that you're in, whether or not you're on this side of the world where we're preparing to go to bed, or whether or not you're just waking up. I pray that either if you're preparing to go to bed, then your day's been great. If you're on the other side of the world where you're just waking up, or you're about to wake up, or you're woke but everybody else ain't woke yet, I pray that the day that you're preparing to have is going to be absolutely amazing. So, as we go through this, I pray that I have an opportunity to get to your question. If you have not asked your question via the Slido app, if you didn't get a chance to do it there, you want to be able to provide your question on the where you're at right now, on whatever platform that you're in. We'll find a way. I got staff here; they'll find a way to get the question to me so that I can make sure that I can answer the question. So I want to be able to answer as many questions as I possibly can within the time period that I have allotted. Now I'm gonna jump into some of these that I have here. A lot of these questions are anonymous. I guess y'all didn't want to have your identity out there. Number one, it says, how can I get unstuck from my past? The reason why I ask, because I know this person for almost 10 years. It's hard to let go. I still love that person. At times it can be very difficult for you to let go of somebody who you've known, and sometimes very difficult to let go of what has been familiar. It's very difficult to let go of what has been comfortable to you. But you have to understand something. You know, when you understand purpose, and when you understand where you're going in life, and when you know where God is sending you, then you don't have to sit back and wonder, God, why do I still feel stuck to something that I left long ago? And you got to know, man, if God is sending you in a place and he's pushing you towards a place, then he's doing a new work in you and he wants to take you to that place. And whatever or whomever has gotten you stuck in the past, they become more of a detriment to your future than they are really a propelling force to take you to your future. And I've always believed that if there's anything that's keeping me from where I'm supposed to be going, then I need to let that go. So sounds to me like the issue that you have is an issue of the past, and it sounds to me like it needs to remain an issue of the past. To be unstuck from that is very simple, and that is whether it's forgiveness, you ask for forgiveness, or you forgive them for whatever that it is. And I also want you to understand this: people typically say, "I've fallen out of love." Love is not a ditch that you fall in. It's definitely not a ditch you crawl out of. Love is something that you grow in. So for some reason in the past, you grew in love with this particular person. That's not a bad thing. You grew in love, but I will grow in love with whomever, whatever that I'm around the most. And it sounds to me like you need to take some time to ask God to really purge your heart of whatever it is that you allow to get attached to that person or to that thing, because it's keeping you stuck from where you're supposed to be going in your future. The next question is advice for someone married to an atheist. I got saved after marriage. I oftentimes I've been getting that a lot from people who say, I'm married to an atheist, or I'm married to a person of a different religion. The Bible is very clear that when you are married to someone who's of a different faith, then you can allow for that person who is of the different faith to be encouraged by your actions. So pretty much, instead of you saying that I'm preaching the word to them, or you having to believe you got to preach the word to them, then you be an example of the word in both word and deed. That you don't have to walk around being, thumping the Bible at them, that you can be a walking example of love and win them over by the love you have for them. And if you continuously, walk that way and live in truth, and knowing that even though my spouse is an atheist right now, I'm praying for them. I'm living the word out in front of them. I'm walking in love. I'm walking in mercy. I'm walking in grace. I'm not going to engage in a discussion or an argument back and forth about religion. I have learned over the years that I do not have to argue the truth, because the truth is the truth no matter how you want to flip it. The truth is the truth no matter how you want to believe it. The truth is simply that. It is the truth. So if you go out there and you say, well, somebody don't believe my truth, and they simply don't believe your truth, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean that they won't always believe your truth. Oftentimes we throw out the baby with the bathwater, and we kind of throw things away, and because they don't necessarily believe how we believe right now. But can I tell you something? Sometimes people sit back and they watch how we'll respond. Sometimes people sit back and they watch how we'll react. Then based upon our reaction, then that will now solicit their response. And I've also learned that you don't win people over through intellectualism. I have not once been able to win somebody over to the gospel of Jesus Christ through intellectual conversation. That while I was able to make very valid points, and while I was able to be somewhat argumentative or detailed towards their arguments, I still did not get an opportunity to win them over. But you want to know something that happened? When I was finally able to give the gospel in a clear explanation, and walk in love, walk in grace, walk in mercy, and pray that God will encounter them, it's the encounter or the experience they had with God that ultimately changed their lives forever. So I pray that helps you. The next one I have here says, what strategies would you recommend when seeking clarity on your purpose, calling, and which gifts to pursue? I've been unclear for years. When it comes to strategy on seeking clarity for your purpose and calling and your gifts, your gifts, when we talk about gifts, now the Bible for me is the final authority. I believe that the gifts are very specific. I believe that there are three different tiers here. You have your gifts, you have your skills, and you have your talents. Now, I believe that your gifts are those things that are supernaturally given by God. The gifts are explained in 1 Corinthians. It's also explained elsewhere in the scriptures. But it's your spiritual gifts. It's a gift. Some people have a gift of administration. Some people, they have a gift of giving. People have different gifts that God has given them. And I like to look at it like this. I always give this example when I'm preaching. Let's just say that I walked inside of the church, and I was walking in the lobby, and then boom, I dropped a plate of, oatmeal raisin cookies. Well, a person with the gift of administration is going to immediately start to administrate. That person is going to say, okay, I need you to go over here. I need you to do this. They're going to start telling people really what it is they need to do. A person that maybe has a gift of teaching, they may walk around, they may say, you know what, there's a good message in that story of somebody dropping the cookies. A person with a gift of giving, then you won't even have to tell them to go and get them. They're just like, what kind of cookies were there? I'll go buy them. Don't worry about it. I don't need the money. I just go get it, because they have such a heart to want to give. So there are different gifts that God has provided, and each and every one of those gifts, it's important for you to know what those gifts are, and it's important for you to really begin to walk in those gifts and know them. But you can find the gifts in the scripture. Now, your skills are those things that you have learned over time. Those are things that you've learned, and as you have grown, and as you learn those things, it's like a trade. It's like something that over the years you necessarily you weren't really gifted with when you were born, but it's something that you've just been skilled with knowing. So it's a certain skill that maybe you've learned. A talent is something that maybe you were born with and you have it. Like some people may be talented. They may be talented singers. Some people may be talented dancers. I've met people who were talented chefs. They've never had any experience whatsoever. They're just talented in what they do. So those individuals, when I look at those individuals, I say, you have a really big talent. So first thing, you need to be able to slice up which one of those you have. What are your spiritual gifts? There are a lot of different spiritual gift tests that are out there for you to be able to define what your spiritual gifts are. Then number two, there are a lot of different ways you can say these are some of the talents that I have. And oftentimes the people who we're around, they help us to draw a conclusion on really, what our different talents are. Then your skills. Your skills are those things which are just learned. You didn't necessarily have a talent. You were necessarily born with it, but you learned it along the way. So once you can get all those things down, then you really ask yourself the question, okay, what is it? What am I really purposed when doing? What makes me come alive? What do I find great passion with doing? And once you really figure those things out, then I'm telling you, your whole life begins to change. Because then you'll know, okay, I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about seeing people healed. I'm very passionate about seeing people delivered. I'm very passionate about seeing people empowered. When you know that, and then you say, okay, I'm passionate about seeing people empowered, and I'm gifted in teaching, or I'm very skilled in this thing, or I'm very talented when it comes to this, then you can be able to see what gifts, skills, and talents you have that can kind of help you to go along with that passion. What's going to have to propel you in the future to help take you and get you in that vehicle that's going to take you to where you want to be. So again, you're looking at your gifts, your skills, your talents. You're asking yourself the question, okay, what is it that I really, really want to do? What is it that wakes me up in the morning? I've heard people say this, and I believe that this is very true as well. They'll say, you can always find your purpose in the things that really frustrate you the most. And I've seen in my life that there are some things that really, really frustrates me, and it's in those things that I really figure out those passions that I have, because there's some things I'm like, they frustrate me, but it's not that big of a deal. But I met other people who are extremely frustrated by those things. So because that may not be my story, that may not be my struggle, then I know that may not be something I'm very passionate about. But there are some people who wake up in the morning. I was talking to one guy the other day. When he wakes up in the morning, all he sees are numbers. He's just a numbers guy. Accounting is something that he loves. It's not something that he didn't go to school for it. It's just something that he loves. He loves numbers. And he was the reason why we had the conversation is because he was getting ready to go into ministry. And his ministry, was defined as preaching. He wanted to go and become a preacher, become a pastor, which there's really nothing wrong with that. But the issue was we had to sit down and we had to have a very, very great conversation of where does your passion lie? And he said, when I wake up in the morning, all I see are numbers. When I wake up he's going down the line on how he likes to look at numbers and how he likes to look at the NASDAQ and look at this and look at that and how finances, how he can just get it, how he's just born with it. He understands it, he gets it, he's able to see the numbers, he got it. And I asked him, I said, so why are you going into pastoral ministry? And he said, you know what, I just believe I've been called into ministry. And I said to him, which I also say to you, that ministry is a calling that we all have. The thing is that we all function differently in ministry. And most of the times when people say I'm going into ministry, all you hear about is I'm going in to start a ministry or start a business or start a nonprofit, and I'm going in to start a church, and that's their flow into ministry. But can I be honest with you? You're on ministry when you're at your job. You're on ministry when you're in your practice. You're on ministry when you're at the park. You're in ministry when you're at the grocery store. We're all in ministry, because ministry is not a destination. Ministry is a journey. It's a place where we're going, so we're always to be ministering to somebody. Whatever that thing is that fits you, then that's what you learn to really do well. The next question I have is, how do you maintain peace in your home, run a ministry, head businesses, be a great parent, have a full marriage, hold on to your sanity, and not lose yourself? I like to go to the gym. I got to go to the gym, okay? The gym helps me. It helps me to recharge. It helps me to relax. It helps me just kind of get my mind right. For a lot of preachers I know, their Saturday night probably looks a whole lot different than mine does. My Saturday night, I like to go to the gym, and when I'm at the gym, I'll go and I'll get a hard workout in for about 40, 50 minutes. Then I like to go to the sauna. I like to talk to God in the sauna and the steam room. I don't know, I like to talk to God in hot places. But I like to talk to God in the sauna. I like to talk to him in the steam room, and I'll go and I get in the spa. and I'll sit in that spa for, for a minute, get out, walk around, go back, sit down, walk, get up, walk around. And I do that over and over and over again. And I may stay there for 3 or 4 hours. And it's just my opportunity to just kind of relax. It's that in the sauna, it's that time where I'm kind of sweating out everything, and I'm just sitting, I'm talking, I'm thinking, or I have my iPad or my phone there with me, and I'm going over the message, or I'm reading the word. I got my headphones in my ear, and I'm listening to the word, or I'm listening to music. So that gives me an opportunity to really relax. Also, I have some really, really amazing friends. You need people who are going to help you to remain sane. I like people to be around me who keep me grounded. I mean, I got 3 kids. I got 3 kids, a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 10-month-old. And so kids will keep you grounded real quick, because kids are typically, very, 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 what's the word? Honest. Kids will tell you exactly what they feel, how they feel it, when they feel it. So you want to make sure that for me, I like to go to the gym. I have really, really great friends who I can go and I can kind of laugh with. They keep me grounded. They keep me relaxed. They'll call me up and they'll say, "You're doing way too much." And then also, I like to prioritize. I'll go through and I run several businesses, but I'll be honest with you, I don't really run them. All I do is I probably run, maybe I don't run. I lead maybe 2 or 3 people who then run the rest of them, because I believe in passive income more than active income. And passive income, I don't necessarily have to be there in order to do it. And if I can pay somebody to oversee the passive income and make sure that all the numbers are right and everything is good, then I'm fine. Or sometimes I can just get a report that just lets me know how everything is, then I'm okay. So the business portion isn't even that bad. In fact, I was joking with some people the other day, and I was letting them know, I'm 32 years old now, and I think I probably work less than I did 10 years ago. There was at one point when I first got a job, I started working at 15 years old. I had a worker's permit. And, when I was in high school, there were some days on the weekends that I'd work 20, 26, 28 hours. I'd work well over a day and then work into the next day. And I remember there was one time where I actually went to sleep on the floor. I took a 3-hour nap on the floor, woke back up, and went right back to work. I know I was breaking all types of child labor laws, but nevertheless, working was something that's in my DNA. And then as I just got wiser, I began to understand that we're killing ourselves trying to work harder when we can really work smarter. That's the reason why I wrote the book Success is Strategic, because I wanted people to understand that the success that they're after is all about them working smarter, not working harder. Now, how do I keep the peace? How do I maintain peace in the home? That's going to come naturally by who you bring into the home. So when the Prince of Peace is somebody who you believe in, then I guarantee you, when you walk in your home, you should have peace. That means that when I walk into my house, I believe the Holy Spirit is here with me. I believe He walks with me. I believe He lives with me. I believe He's all around me. So because of that, peace dwells in my house. Shalom dwells in my house. And I believe that God is the God of peace, and He keeps me in perfect peace. So you always have to know that's how you keep peace in the home. But all the other stuff, I mean, it's my marriage, man. I go on date nights every Friday with my wife, and at least once a week. We do our family thing where we have our family nights on our family days on Saturdays. So it's just you have to learn really what works well for you. Then when you find out what really works well for you, then you have to do that. But I have found a rhythm, and I just like to stay in my little lane. The next question I have here is, how can I break the stronghold of fear and anxiety? I oftentimes get stuck in and overcome with fear. Well, here's the thing. When things happen to us, we usually have different responses. Some people fight. Some people stand and they fight. Some people freeze, and some people run away, or they flee. And those are the 3 main ways that I've always known how people deal with certain issues. Certain people, I'll go over them again. Certain people, they fight. They learn to fight back. Those are individuals. They're just very belligerent. They just learn to fight back. You have those individuals who freeze. They don't really do anything. They just kind of get stuck. They're just frozen in life, and things have happened to them, and they've just gotten frozen. Or the situation where you got some people, they'll flee. They just run away. And I've learned over the years that we learn one of these three behaviors, from different issues, and I'll say it, most likely traumatic situations that have happened in our childhood. So because these things have happened in our childhood, then we begin to practice this over and over again. So, maybe something in your childhood has happened, and because every time it happened, you fight. You try to fight your way out of it. I know people who are just fighters. They fight everybody, fight for everything. They fight. They just fight. They just like to fight. So they're fighters. I know some people that because of things that happened to them in their childhood, it was either abuse, it was, either physical, emotional, sometimes even sexual abuse, they freeze. And because of that, when situations happen in their life, let's just say that somebody gets ready to confront them, that confrontation is met with, I'm freezing. They're not moving, and they don't want to move because they're like, I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere. I don't know I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to say. I'm just not moving. Then you have those individuals where, when a confrontation comes, they like to run away. So I would say that it'd be wise for you to be able to go back and allow for God to really show you in one of those three areas when you were a child. Which one of those three areas did you grow proficient in? Did you become a fighter? Sounds to me like you became somebody that would freeze. And then if that's the area that you became more proficient in, then I would say, practice the next time that you get inside of a confrontational moment, or the time when you feel anxious or something like that, to begin to tell yourself, you know what? I have no reason to fear. I have no reason to fear. And keep telling yourself that until you believe it. I have no reason to fear. That He didn't give me this spirit of timidity. He did not give me this spirit of fear. And I know if God didn't give it to me, then I know this has to be coming from somewhere else. I learned this from somewhere else. I don't need to be afraid anymore. I don't have to be anxious about anything. God walks with me. God loves me. God is for me. I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to keep pushing. And I'll be honest, there are different times in my life where I get fearful and I get very anxious and I get concerned about what's going to happen. I get concerned about how it's going to happen. I get concerned about when it's going to happen. And I have to always remind myself that God does not want me to live this way. He does not want me to live in anxiety about what's going to happen and how it's going to happen and when it's going to happen and all this stuff. That God wants me to know that, I'm moving in the right way. He's with me all the way, that I can choose faith. And I can stand in faith, I can live by faith, and I can live honorably and really in service to Him. The next thing that I have here, it says, married 9 years, separated on and off most times, 4 kids, husband always leaves, has excuses, feel stuck and unsecured in my marriage, need peace, I'm drained, divorce. Unfortunately, and I even see the names you put on here: depleted, deflated, deprived, tired, disgusted, and can't be trusted. Goodness gracious. I can tell that you are just done. First off, I want to say this. No matter how hurt you are, I want to make sure, and you listen to me carefully. I want to make sure that no matter how hurt you are, that you do not allow for bitterness to get into your heart. Okay, that's the plan of the enemy. I'm quite confident that this has not been easy. I'm quite confident this has been difficult. I'm quite confident this has been hard. But I'm telling you something, don't let that seep into your heart. Do not let that seep into your heart. You do not want that to happen. The question at the end of this was divorce. I've never been a big advocate of divorce. I have never been a big advocate for divorce. While I believe that, when I look at the scriptures in Malachi, it says that while it was allowed, God still hated it. Okay. And I know that what the Bible also says, that Moses, he permitted divorce because of the hardness of our hearts. Now, here's the thing. You're living in a household right now where your husband is continuing to leave. He's continuing to separate. I wish I can tell you that I had situations that were like that, where things just didn't get better. But I've actually seen situations where they were just like that, and things did get better. I think that ultimately God gives us free will. The free will that He provides us in our life gives us an option and the choice to be able to make the decision on what we're going to do. That is the opportunity for you to be able to make the decision and say, hey, am I gonna choose to divorce? I'm gonna choose to stay. I don't ever want to be somebody to be put in that position to tell somebody you need to get a divorce, because I've actually seen on the other side when people chose to stick it out and they chose to make it better. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age where, even when we hear stuff like that, then people say, well, you're being insensitive, and you know what, you wouldn't be saying that if you were married to this person. I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell you to go and divorce your husband, or if you're listening, you're watching this, you may be having a similar situation. I wouldn't go and tell you to divorce your wife over the situation, because I know I've seen it where things have changed. And if you've tried counseling, you've tried everything else, but you're at this point right now, and your free will is telling you, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a divorce, and I'm definitely not going to stop you from doing that. I always encourage reconciliation at all costs. I believe that reconciliation is something the Bible calls us to. I believe that reconciliation is something that's backed up by agape. And unfortunately, agape is one of the strongest means of reconciliation, but it is also one of the most difficult things for us to understand. Agape is it's God's love. It is the love. It's the love of 1 Corinthians 13. That love is patient. Love is kind. That love is not envious. That love is not boastful. Love does not take account of the wrong done towards it. I know what some people are thinking. They're like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but wisdom tells me this. Wisdom is relative. And I always have to tell people who say that wisdom is relative, but it never takes the place of truth. You see what I'm saying? If that was the case, then it's not wisdom, it's all lies. Wisdom is relative. If the Word of God says something, then that's how we live it. But ultimately, I'll leave it as what I said it. You have free will. And if the free will that you have comes in and you say, this is what I want to do, then that's going to be your response. You mentioned a couple times your past issues with pornography. It says, how were you able to break free? And did it follow you into your marriage? And I'll let this one probably be I'll answer this one. I answer one more, and then I'll be done. It says, you mentioned a couple of times your past issues with pornography. How were you able to break free, and did it follow you into your marriage? Man, I want to make sure I get this right. When you don't know who you are, and you don't know the type of authority that you have through the power of God, then you will learn to continue to compromise in areas where God has called you to champion. And I say that to say this, that overcoming pornography for me was not the biggest issue. My biggest issue was not the pornography. I had to learn that pornography for me, pornography and masturbation was something that grew out of a deeper insecurity. It grew out of me not really liking myself. It grew out of me not understanding how to be relational. It grew out of me not really understanding myself. So because of all of that, I didn't like me. I didn't like the person I was. I didn't like looking at myself in the mirror. And that followed me into my marriage, where even my wife Heather would look at me and she would say, I love you. And I would say, stop saying that. I don't want you to say that. And I just felt so disgusted with myself half the time. And pornography was something that kind of drew me in, because you understand something about pornography. You don't have to take pornography out. You don't have to take it on a date. You don't have to take pornography. You don't have to go see its mama. You got to meet his mama or daddy. You don't have to get pornography a ring. It's almost like you can use it. You can throw it away when you're done with it. You can pick it back up when you want it. And that's what I did. I was using it for my own satisfaction. But I think for me, it was a deeper issue of false identity. It was a deeper issue of self-hatred. It was a deeper issue of me just not liking me. It wasn't, I was trying to defeat it through self-discipline. I was trying to defeat it through willpower. And can I tell you this? Will ain't got no power. I was trying to defeat it through, all these other methods. And can I just be honest with you? I got to the point where I read all these books, every young man's battle, every man's battle. I read all these books about, porn, cyber thing, and all this kind of stuff. I did all this stuff, and none of that stuff seemed to work, because every time I cut it off or throw it away, I always find a way back to it. It wasn't until I addressed my issues of insecurity, and I had to dive deep into who I was and the child inside of me, and how that child in me still felt insecure, even when the adult in me was saying, you don't have to feel that way anymore. And I had to go and I had to get healed in that area. And because I got healed in that area, I was able to finally just successfully break free from that thing and walk away from it. And thank God I've been able to stay free from it. The last question I'll answer here is, I'm struggling with patience regarding my season of singleness. What are some healthy things I could be doing while I wait for my husband to find me? Let me tell you something. When you tell me that you're struggling with patience regarding your season of singleness, then what that's telling me is that you may be focusing way too much on the relationship that's to come and not the opportunity you have right now. Can I tell you something? Your season of singleness is just that, if God so wills it, and it's a season. What you can do right now is you can really get busy about him. I've met two different type of singles in my journey, and people always talk about me. They're like, you don't understand singles. Like I'm married now, but I hadn't always been married. I was single at one time, But I met two different types of singles. I met singles who were single and frustrated, and I met singles who were single and joyful. And the one common denominator that made the frustrated different than the one that was joyful was the fact that the one that was joyful, listen to me, the one that was joyful had purpose. The one that was joyful was walking with the Lord. The one that was joyful was moving in the area that God wanted them to. I've met singles, and I know some now. I know one, we always talk about her, Juliette Bush. She travels the world. She takes other people, other women, and private tours. She takes them around the world to Bali and Thailand and Dubai and to Santorini. She takes them all on these amazing tours, and she takes them all around the world. It's absolutely amazing. And people look and they say, well, you don't have a man. No, she'd have a man. And she's not sitting around trying to find one. Because you know what? You want to know what? She's found a passion. She found a purpose. And now she's allowing for other people to take this journey with her. And then when they get to Santorini, when they get to Paris, when they get to Dubai, when they get to Bali, when they get to Phuket, when they get to these places, they sit down and they have dinners and they have lunches and massages. They talk about Jesus. She's able to take her season of singleness and not be frustrated about what she doesn't have, and finally passionate about what God's called her to do. So then if a man comes into her life, he's not coming into her life to find her just inactive, just kind of sitting around like, oh, I can't wait till you came. Now if a man comes to her life, he's like, yeah, I'm on fire about this. What are you doing with your life? Hey, let's come together. Let's fulfill this passion and this mission together. Now a man who comes into her life has to have a serious mission that she can be able to say, I'm willing to submit myself to. And that's what it means by submission, meaning you can get under the mission of. But I pray that helps you. I want to be able to do this more often, be able to share some of these answers with you. I love these questions that you all sent to me. Ultimately, I pray that you really understand the importance of strategy, because strategy is important. On June 28th, I'm going to be releasing my new book, Success is Strategic. Success is strategic. And I want to make sure that I'm going to be giving you all the pre-order information, and make sure that you know where to get it. But you'll know Amazon, all those places. You look out for it. But ultimately, I want to also be able to help you even before that. I'm doing classes now. I have a whole semester planned out for people who want to dive deeper into strategy, because my whole goal is to take you from where you are right now to where you need to be. Because of that, I started something I like to call the Strategy School. And strategy school is all about taking you from where you are to where you need to be, where I share different teachings that I've learned along the way to be able to help people to go from where they are to where they need to be. You know, I think one of the teachings going to be coming up soon, I'm talking about active and passive income. I meet a lot of people who they're very pleased and very happy about saying, they'll come to me and say, hey, you know what, Pastor, I got a job, but I'm making $310,000 a year. And I look at them and I say, babe, I'm sorry, but you're broke. I mean, all you're doing is you're making $300,000 a year, bro. That's it. 300. I mean, it's like that's only one stream of income. Here's the thing. If that stream gets cut off, that means you don't have any more income coming through. So the idea is that you create different streams. I forget where it said, but it said the average millionaire has at least 7 streams of income. And I believe that success is very important. Success is strategic. I want to be able to teach you why you need to have this. I want you to be able to teach you, what success means. It's not about accumulating a lot of things. It's not about the money that you have. It's just about being obedient to God. But I want you to be able to have your time so you can be able to do what God tells you to do. And I want you to be able to have resources so you can be able to give when God tells you to give it. But I want you to be able to have them both. And I don't understand why people don't believe you can have them both. Success is strategic, but you make sure that you sign up for strategy school. It's $20 a month. You can go to www.strategyschool.live and you can get in on that. Hey, it's $20 a month. I mean, that's a great value. I believe it's a great value. $20. That's it. Just $20 a month. Also, July 25th through the 27th, man, I'm gonna be down in close to Miami, Florida. Men, I want to make sure you get there. Ladies, you get your husbands there, you get your sons there, you get your boyfriends there, you get your uncle, your cousin, all them there. I want to make sure that I get you down there. It's gonna be it's in like Miami-ish area, but make sure you get down there. Make sure that you go to themancaveconference.com, or you can also go to mancavestrategies.com. Make sure you register. I got some amazing speakers, Miles McPherson. I got some of my athletic buddies. I got Troy Grambling. I got some amazing guys going to be there. Going to be doing some awesome teachings. But again, the whole purpose of this is for you to be able to come and get the strategy you need, the strategy that you need to go back home to be an amazing husband, to be an amazing son, to be an amazing pastor or minister. I got different strategies all lined up for you that I believe are going to help you to go from where you are to where you want to be. So if you have any questions about where you are, this is the place for you to be. It's for you to be July 25th to the 27th. Make sure you're there. The Man Cave Conference is going to be absolutely amazing. Women, you can go to the Pinky Promise Conference. You just go to pinkypromiseconference.com and you make sure you go over there. The good thing is that the conferences are literally 13 minutes apart. That means if you're married, husbands, you go 13 minutes this way. Wives, you go 13 minutes this way. We got child care already provided. Make it a whole family trip. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for it. But God bless you. I can't wait to do this again. I love you. I believe in you. And I want you to know you have potential. You have potential. I love you. I believe in you. You have potential. Potential is not your problem. Your problem is strategy. But I want to help you to get all the strategy you need so I can help you go from where you are to where you need to be.